Alright everybody, welcome to more Heroes of the Storm. Whoop whoop. Division S Qualifier, ladies and gentlemen, for Season 2, and we have KiiKoo Combo against pepeMLady, the grand final, the best of 3 series of the third qualifier for Division S. On the left side, for the KiiKoo Combo, we have Nerf Kolios, we have Kiava on Stitches, Kolios by the way on Tychus, Ixia on Brightwing. He's pretty amazing on Brightwing, but generally, I'm personally not a Brightwing fan, as people might have already sassed out. Yasuo on Genji, and Slate on Sonya. And on the right side, pepeMLady going full in A here with this one. Richu on Uther, we have Devcio on Hanzo, Dyla on Rega, Balls on Medivh, and Wilq on Diablo. So the only thing that I can really imagine that has happened here is that the team was starting to draft and they're like, okay, how the fuck do we keep Wilq alive? How do we keep the Polish streamer and commentator alive? And they said, like, guys, alive. I know how. We pick Rega, I have Ancestral. When he goes YOLO, I can Ancestral him. And they said, like, I don't know if that's enough. You know what? We're going to draft Medivh as well, so we can give him a shield if he starts to YOLO a little bit too hard. And the other guys were like, it's an amazing idea. Rega and Medivh. And they were thinking about it a little bit more, and they're like, I'm still not quite sure if we can keep him alive. You know, the guy really runs it down mid a lot. And I said, like, okay, we have to go for it. Let's go and add a second support to it too, and go straight in for Uther and have Uther side lane. And yeah, they're happy with that. So they have everything that they have right now in order to get that through. And let's see if it actually works for them. Obviously, at this point, this is just being memeing around a little bit. A lot of the players on pepeMLady should be familiar to you. Some have been playing for other teams. I actually think that a lot of them were part previously of Hold My Beer, even though I admit completely that I might be wrong on that account. There's actually a lot going on with a lot of qualifiers and then also the Nations Cup, so there's players that all of a sudden play for 2-3 different teams because of the national teams, and it is at times a little bit confusing, so my apology if I mixed something up here. But the players' names should definitely ring a bit of a bell if you watch the games here regularly, especially Dyla, Devcio, Wilq himself, of course, and then also Richu up towards the top. But as it stands right now, let's have a little bit of a look of how this game pans out. We have seen the Uther side lane already a few times in the past here. And with the same vein, especially after the Nations Cup, one of the things that's also really interesting is, again, that Brightwing pick for Ixia. And the important part actually with that is, ooh, that's a quick killer. Nicely done. Brother against brother. Hanzo takes down Genji for the first blood in the game. But yeah, in the Nations Cup, especially in the Grand Final, there were obviously some fantastic games played, and Ixia on Brightwing has definitely proven that he's very strong on the hero. And it shows kind of again that Brightwing can actually be a bit useful if you have higher level play with good coordination. I mean, it's one of the reasons why Brightwing had a place in HGC back in the days. But the interesting part was still that in all the games that Brightwing won in the Nations Cup Grand Final, was always paired together with Abathur. So it was never Brightwing solo that was able to tilt it towards victory. So we'll see if this time is going to be different. But Brightwing is definitely still struggling in that position. That's just absolutely true. The hero offers something when you play against Tracer, when you play against Genji, because you have the Polymorph, which is incredibly powerful. There's also that global aspect that should not be neglected. But at the same time, there is no real targeted heal outside of the Blink heal on level 10. And that can be a problem if you compare it to other heroes. And since we're having 2 supports on the other side, it's actually going to be a bit nasty for the KiiKoo Combo, I want to say. Because right now, if you think about it, there's 2 supports plus Medivh. That means portal, mobility, a lot of stuns through Uther. You have the damage with Hanzo and other heroes as well. And then again, you look at a sustainable battle and the opponent has only Brightwing, who's just not really fantastic in that spot. And at this point, the Fruit Fly already gets turned into a pincushion as Devcio comes in with Hanzo. And there's kill number 3 and number 4 as they take Brightwing and Eminem down. Yeah, easy peasy. So that was an easy one for them, and so far pepeMLady is actually crushing it here. This is the first time. Oh, Medivh dies down here. Ah, that hurts. Loses the stacks. But yeah, this is actually the first time that we have pepeMLady making it to the grand final in the qualifiers. Again, this is qualifier number 3. And the qualifiers work a little bit different for Division S in Europe than they do in North America. If you watch some of the North American finals, you know that players or teams that play in the grand final qualify for the season automatically if they win the qualifier. And that's because there are more slots open. Europe works a little bit different. You have multiple tournaments. Ooh, nice done. Very nicely done here with the wall stun. You have multiple tournaments that are being played, and the teams gather points in every single one of the qualifiers that lead to a ranking, and at the end of, I think it's 4 weeks, the top teams in the ranking, they actually play an additional tournament that will decide the final few spots for Division S for the second season. So it's a little bit different, which means that right now with the KiiKoo Combo pretty much always making it into the grand final or even winning the entire thing, they are very, very secure to be part of the final qualifier, and they will have a good seeding no matter what happens here. But for pepeMLady, this is a big step, because they usually came far in the tournament, but making it to the grand final is pretty huge. And if they can actually take this series, that would be fantastic for them as well. With 4 kills against 1, the Dragon Knight early on in the game gets burned down pretty quickly, but there's obviously quite a few resources that had to be used in order to take it down, which means the bot lane is getting pushed aggressively. But before we focus on that, let's have a look over here. Stun against Sonya, and everybody just moves away. But as I said, the push at the bot lane is pretty strong at this point. Right now, we're having the immediate push against the fort itself, and the wall has already been taken down. And this is starting to go a little bit nasty. Alrighty, what else is there? With level 7 talents on the board, 10 is around the corner, and that means that at least the red team could force a bit of a fight. Yeah, there's the ley line into the apocalypse with a Divine Storm to round the entire CC setup up. And we also have, in addition to that, Ancestral Healing, so there is definitely a lot of sustain for them, and a CC train that when it hits you is going to take you down. The Blink heal then again for X here, and yes, he is probably one of the best Brightwing players currently in the game, but yeah, putting lipstick on a pig, ladies and gentlemen. How much is that really going to do for him? As we have, Brightwing is going to try and make a difference here, but with 4 kills against 1, the game is firmly in the hands of pepeMLady, despite the fact that they actually lost one of the Dragon Knights. A bit of a move against Stitches, and Stitches actually went on level 1 into the Hungry for More. Kenny goes down and loses his stacks. Medivh is not having a good game. Hungry for More and Stitches is actually a fantastic item, fantastic talent if you get a lot of stacks. And on this map, I'm honestly not 100% certain if that necessarily is the best pick for him. He has only 9 stacks 7 minutes into the game. If you pick the talent, let's say on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it's a very different story, because you have an easy time rotating between lanes and grabbing those globes. But it's a pretty insane talent. There's multiple reasons for it. First of all, if you are really diligent about the globes, you can get up to 10,000, 11,000 hit points in a normal game in competitive play, which is crazy for the late game. Your opponent has pretty much no chance of taking you down. Let's interrupt over here. And obviously, it also scales Devour, which is probably the most important part here. Medivh at this point, I think he's given up. At this point, I honestly think he has just given up. He just YOLOs the shit out of this and says like, fuck it, I'm not going to complete the quest anyways. Alright. Yeah, so because Devour takes a percentage of your max health, if you have an insane hit point pool, that Devour is going to be incredible, especially if you also move in and take, for example, second helping on level 20. You will have a huge advantage there in survivability. So late game, that could make a difference, but right now, Kiva on Stitches has a huge problem getting globes together, and we have the red team with the Dragon Knight too. So despite the fact that the KiiKoo Combo was able to get 2 kills in, and therefore close the gap between the two teams in kills a little bit, there's still a Dragon Knight for them. Nice attack against Genji. Oh, arrow comes in. Polymorph. Nice. And the help from Medivh. Rega is alive, and Sonya is dead. Dragon Knight's still trying to at least use the AoE as level 13 talents are picked for the team in red. And they're starting to make their play here. Bit of a kick in the butt, or at least the attempt. But Yasuo is moving away. Very low on HP, but he has the fountain cooldown. That is a little bit of an ambitious apocalypse, but it actually worked out. Ixia is low. Dyla wants to kill, doesn't get it. And we have the kill against Genji instead, just as Tychus is bullied around slightly. Medivh is rushing away, currently sitting at 10 stacks, trying once again to complete the quest here. Not easy for him at all. Hanzo gets eliminated though, 32,000 damage for him, and the main damage dealer is now all of a sudden gone, which means that pepeMLady needs to be a bit careful. 2 heroes haven't died yet. That's Kieva on Stitches and Tychus. But the team in blue is starting to gain a bit more momentum, despite the fact that they lost the 4 topside. They are all of a sudden in experience back. They are nearly on the same level as their opponent. And given the early game that was firmly in the hands of pepeMLady, it isn't too bad. So with all the sustain that we have from the red team, they're still struggling a little bit in that fight to keep everybody alive. And that is a problem. And as I said before, not completing the quest on Medivh is an issue too. If you are playing a setup where you're that heavily reliant on damage coming from some of those supports and pseudo supports, then you really need to also complete that baseline quest in order to have more of an impact with Medivh here. KiiKoo goes in a little bit deep at this point, gets immediately attacked. They're trying for the counter. And there's again the portal already used. 15 stacks now for Stitches, which means that of course he also has part of the quest reward. So 5% additional movement speed for him now, thanks to the level 1 talent. Has also now gone into the Lacerate, so not going into a cooldown reduction on Devour. He's not that aggressively speccing into survivability here. As pointed out earlier, Devour benefits from a high hit point pool, so the more stacks you have on level 1, the more advantageous that talent is to you. So if you are just thinking about survivability and nothing else, then heading into cooldown reduction on Devour and the second helping later on 20 can be very beneficial. But of course there's a few other aspects to this entire setup that have to be important here. Alright, Apocalypse could... Oh, that did not work as intended. First, the Divine Storm doesn't connect, the arrow does, but too far out, and Apocalypse is never used. Oh, God. Yeah, there was a little bit too much Polish vodka involved on the side of pepeMLady, I think. That was a good one. That was a fantastic setup. Get wrecked. Double kill against Tychus and against Brightwing. It was all a ruse. They tried to trap them a little bit, make them feel comfortable, and then they took them apart. Nicely done. The initial setup was a bit of a disaster, I gotta say, but that follow-up was totally worth it. So well played by pepeMLady, picking up an important double kill that could well lead to another Dragon Knight after they now took the fort down. Medivh is at 22 stacks at this point, so yeah. And what else are we going to see? Topside is going to be channeled, and I guess... I mean, it's a 5 versus 5. If they are fast, they might be able to make a play here, but I doubt it. You can already see Genji jumping in. That's a wall stun for sure. Yep, one wall stun, flip, second, and barely gets out. Oh, no. No arrow. Yasuo gets away. Yeah, but the problem is with all the stuns in the mid lane, Tychus doesn't. The ley line doesn't connect with anything because he died. But still, that was a good Ancestral, and here we go again. And all that sustain that you have from those 2.5 supports, and that's a Dragon Knight. Yeah, Uther is getting it, and all of a sudden we're talking about potentially even Keep if they can take that one down too. So with this, they're starting to move straight in. 26 stacks now also for Medivh, so he's trying once again, and dies. Medivh is never gonna complete that quest. I feel at this point he actually felt that he might be having a chance here to complete it eventually, but he's proven wrong very quickly. The fort goes down, it's still a 3 versus 4, including the Dragon Knight, and they are opening the wall at the bottom of the map. As the fight still continues, yeah, and they're actually isolating Diablo here. Might go for another push. Diablo still alive, KiiKoo trying to get away, but he's gonna fall. Dragon Knight still alive and kicking, trying to at least burn the entire wall down. But I gotta say that this is a little bit of a Monka opening that we have into this best of 3 series here in the grand final. I mean, truth be told, this is currently all over the place. And especially from the perspective of KiiKoo Combo, who've been very dominant previously, they can't be quite happy with this considering that their opponent is always giving them an opening back into the game. But as it stands, Uther is still alive, dodges nearly everything, gets a shield, and actually gets out. Nice. The big chase of 2019, and Uther survives it all. Alright. So with this, 44,000 for Hanzo, 48,000 for Genji. Time to go. But it's at least, yeah, it's close still. I mean, I gotta say, there's definitely a lot of misplays that we now have for mistimings, but from a perspective of entertainment, this is definitely fantastic. And I still have to point something out, because I feel like this is always talked about by people that watch these games and are not quite of the same level of these players. They look at certain combos and they're like, oh my god, that looks like my Storm League matches. Oh my god, I could do that better. One of the big reasons why oftentimes that misunderstanding comes in is that people that don't play on this level, again, this is not the highest level of play in European Heroes of the Storm, but these teams still are currently in the grand final for Division S Qualifier, so that isn't too bad at all. But one of the reasons for that misconception is that people don't understand that on this level of play, the margin of error is much, much smaller. So I got to admit, absolutely, that there were a couple of combos that could have been executed a lot better here. But also, you don't have as much time with calls and to make certain plays and decisions as you do on a lower level. So oftentimes, that's where that misconception comes from. Because people have seen similar plays in their own leagues, but disregard that for those plays you have 2 or 3 times the amount of time to execute them, whereas here everything is a lot faster than it is on a lower level. But either way, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the people that say, oh my god, I could play so much better than this, and then they sign up a team for any of these competitions, why they get dragged in round number 1 by one of these teams. But again, 11 kills against 6, we currently have level 20, which Storm Talents, I mean, it's not big lead, but it's there, so they can take easily the camp at this point. And what are we having? They're starting to make their little play with this. Yes, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. And on the other side, the complete center on the middle of the map in order to ensure that they can try and prevent the Dragon Knight if the top shrine ever falls under the control of the opponent. The interesting part here is, of course, that Medivh in the late game now gives a huge advantage by simply granting vision. I mean, this is huge. Medivh being able to just sit there in bird form. Medivh cheats for a reason. We all know that. Blizzard even advertises it on level 20. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. We knew that before you gave the talent the name. But thanks for the heads up anyways, Captain Obvious. And yeah, Stitches goes for the Potent Bile here. And has now 29 stacks, another globe, and he will not only have nearly 1,000 additional hit points, but at the same time rely on 10% additional movement speed. Wilkie is still looking to see if he can... Oh no, that was very optimistic. Medivh cheats, but he can't catch up with that. They can catch up with Stitches though, and that arrow connects. There's the Apocalypse follow-up, and that could be a kill. And Brightwing barely keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but there it is. And Uther with a lockdown, thanks to Divine Storm. I don't know what these ley lines are, honestly. Like, that one was not needed whatsoever. They still get the kill regardless. But, yep, Medivh cheating his way to victory, or at least attempting to. Diablo's already at the bottom of the map, but this is another 5 versus 3. And we're coming back to our old point that Brightwing, in terms of burst heal, has a problem. Blink heal definitely helps. That is 100% true. Helps a little bit with that issue, but generally speaking, the potential here is just not as huge. The global aspect is a bigger one, and this time, as they don't have Abathur like they did in the Nations Cup Grand Final, they struggle a lot more with this. But as it stands, we have now 13 kills against 6, and obviously pepeMLady is going to be looking to take game number 1 of their opponent in this best of 3 series. This is the Grand Final. So they're already starting to jump in. KiiKoo has already attacked, and this is the end. I mean, seriously, how are they going to burn down the Dragon Knight? There's no chance for that happening, and now that the ley line is even out, this is obviously the end of it. Medivh never really completed his quest. The arrow goes far and wide again as he's trying to stun them a little bit more, but it doesn't make a difference. This is game as pepeMLady takes down KiiKoo Combo in game number 1 on Dragonshire here at the Division S Qualifier for Season 2. GG, and well played. Game number 2, KiiKoo Combo against pepeMLady, and the last map was actually the first map loss for the KiiKoo Combo in the entire Division S Qualifier. I'm not only talking about the qualifier number 3, I'm talking all the qualifiers that they participated in. They absolutely crushed in the previous series and tournaments. But let's check out what they can do in Battlefield of Eternity. Kolios this time on Liming, Kirva on Muradin, Ixia on Lucio, from Brightwing to Lucio, Slate on Rexa, and Yazu on Hanzo. On the right side of the map, pepeMLady with Will Q on ETC, Balsa on Greymane, Dyla on Ana, Richu on Arthurs, and Devsio is playing Jaina. Alrighty, so let's see how this is going to pan out now for the team in blue. They definitely got a couple of cool heroes now for this map, especially of course they got Kirva on his Liming, which can be pretty insane. In a lot of previous series, especially in the Nations Cup, that hero was actually banned out against him multiple times because he was pretty impactful on it. But pepeMLady has played pretty well so far, with the exception that they're now losing Greymane immediately as the game begins. So not a good opening for them here. But at the same time, we're currently having also Lucio in play, and Lucio is always a little bit hit or miss. It's one of those heroes where I feel with the macro play, he can be quite impactful. If you have a player that is also absolutely solid on especially the heroic ability, then you can in team fights gain a lot of value with the well-timed sound barrier, even though it is at times difficult. But a lot of teams struggle still getting good value out of him because it's not really the best hero usually in that position. Again, outside of using him for macro play. On this map, a little bit of a different setup. I mean, around the objective and when you're trying to play for a sustainable battle, there is definitely something to be said for Lucio. And also with his wall slides, Ixia has some insane plays, a lot of these heroes. But I always wonder how he would perform if he would just go to one of those absolute meta heroes that are dominating the scene for good reason, and how much more of an impact he would probably have with those. But either way, Lucio, as I said, with good and well-timed heroic abilities, you normally have quite a bit of an impact there. This, again, has also an impact. Ana is gonna die. Yeah, Ana goes down. Ana is dead, but the camp is taken, and now the question is, of course, can Hanzo get away? He's already on the run, and yeah, not happening. Cute attempt, but not happening, my friend. Power slide even misses. Ixia was going all the way down there in order to help him out, but even that didn't work. The rotation towards the top then again could potentially take down Arthurs, and with a well-timed Stormbolt, it seems like they're setting the kill up. Oh! Richu, you beast! The death coil at the end of that little combo allows him to get away. Nicely done. Well played by him, an easy escape. Hashtag not even close. And well, for the team in red, we now have the camp already taken. Same is happening on the other side as the Immortal is about to spawn. A little bit of an engage towards the top. They could try and take Misha down, but the goal is apparently to take the Khaldor camp here, with 20 seconds still missing. This is actually a pretty sick attempt to push through the top lane. If they keep the Shamans alive a little bit longer and then they get the Khaldor camp in too, that would really do a whole lot of work here. And there's already a bit of a sleeping dart. Okay, Khaldor camp and the minion wave come in too. So this is a pretty solid setup in order to get some damage done here. And it's gonna keep at least Rexa for a long time at the top. With Hanzo also in the mix, you can now start to really chunk down that Immortal. If you are on the side of KiiKoo Combo though, if you get access, the problem is that Greymane has already taken position at the blue team's Immortal, is trying to do the exact same thing. Here comes a pushback, nicely played by Lucio, really well done here. Keeping especially Jaina over there, and now they're trying to get the kill against Ana, which actually should work out for them if they chase her down. But they decide to focus onto the Immortal instead, which isn't a bad idea either. Yeah. Lucio, again, trying to get access to Greymane and push him back into the battle. But as it stands, it's pretty much a halftime show between the two teams, so nicely done. Here comes the attack again. Richu is getting locked down for just a moment. Halftime show already won by the blue team, and now they're looking for more. And they're starting to burn that down quickly. And there's nothing on the other side. Ixia is standing around a little bit longer, can boop someone away, try and buy a little bit of time, but there is no doubt anymore that the blue team is going to win the Immortal. Lucio makes it happen together with Hanzo. Yeah, 2 Overwatch heroes, better than 1 Overwatch hero so far. The good old rule still holds true in most Heroes of the Storm games, I'd say. But let's see how much damage they can actually do at the top. But I gotta say, really nice setups from Lucio here. Ixia again, the guy is incredibly strong, and he has set up several kills now for the team. And we'll see how much of an impact he has around level 10 when his heroic ability finally pops in. Rexa already on the way down to the bot lane. Again, Triumvirate taken, very common these days on this map, since after the dominance change, a lot of players don't want to pick it here any longer. But there's the kill again, and once more, set up by Lucio. So Ixia is definitely giving his team opportunity after opportunity to get kills by pushing the opponent back into the mix. And now with Stormbolts coming through, Kieva could have potentially set up another one, but Wilq also with a power slide towards the back, locking them down. Even if the Stormbolt would have connected, chances of them taking Jaina down would have been pretty slim. As it happens, there's the push through the bot lane after the 4 topside has been taken down, and they're of course looking for more. They're looking to take the towers down, looking to see if they can maybe even drop the fort, but at least the fountain is on the menu, and they're gonna grab this one without any problems whatsoever. And both fountain is eliminated is gonna be pretty big, because it means that the opponent can only take it or only recover some hit points to the middle. That's a nice lockdown against Lucio, though. It seems like he's still able to get away. ETC slides away again. The big jump, and that could be a kill against at least Greymane. And they take him down. What an absolute monster performance here by the KiiKoo Combo in game number 2 of this best of 3 series here at the grand final. Kolios gets taken apart, so at least a counter kill for the red team. They also get Misha, but they still lost a lot of ground here. They're nearly an entire level behind, and especially towards level 10, that's of course going to bode pretty badly for the red team. With level 7 abilities, we also have the heavy impact, and we have on top of that Calamity. So with heavy impact and the slow, Calamity could get a little bit more value, gives also a good setup for every follow-up stun that you could possibly think of. But I haven't seen that talent in a long time, I gotta admit. So it's interesting that we actually have that back to business. I mean, there was, of course, back in the day, a stronger version of it. But the problem is that Kieva just misses these storm bolts. That's another one that he could have connected. And I think that might have even led to a kill against ETC. But he misses out on it. They still push him back, and now the camp at the bot lane is up for grabs. And they claim that. But it's more important that the experience is now zoning in on level 10. And with the team in red making the play for the Shaman camp, they identified this immediately. See an opportunity, move on to the fort, and take that down too. So it's honestly pretty impressive. KiiKoo Combo, they exploit every little weakness of their opponent here, and have an easy time setting themselves apart now. And since they are so far ahead, that level 10 ability with Haymaker on Mirrodin is just it. They're starting to move in. There's nothing to be done about it. Wilq just barely moving away, and they're just burning this down. Ixia gets even pinged, and everybody's saying like, dude, where was the pushback? Where was the pushback on this one? The entire time you set up the kills, and all of a sudden you're slacking. Get your act together, bro. But it's time for the Immortal again. And guys, is there any question that this is going to be nearly 100% shields? This bastard is going to hurt. This guy is going to hurt a lot. That could hurt too. Connects the Stormbolt, but no Haymaker. So they have a lot of pushback now. Not only Lucio, the booping is still there, but we also have on top of that Haymaker. 18 stacks on the baseline. So a few more, and we're going to finally see them with a cooldown reduction on the auto attacks on the Piers. Level 10 abilities are ready for pepeMLady in order to defend all of this. The Polish team is doing their thing. And the Immortal, I mean, again, it's only 8 minutes into the game, but it's 100% shields. Try to go for the setup. Lucio sees it coming. Mosh Pit gets insta interrupted. Haymaker into the tower range, and Wilq is down. Not a good start for pepeMLady at all. Ana doesn't see the arrow coming. Stormbolt connects. There's the combo. There's the kill. Make it a triple, baby, as Jaina goes down too. This is a nightmare. An absolute unmitigated nightmare for the red team. KiiKoo Combo crushing through game number 2 like there's no tomorrow. They got mad after the first game. You can tell. There's just kill after kill after kill ending up in their hands. And this is pretty much the speed run that they're executing here. 10 kills against 2, and they're just picking these up one after another. Look at this. They already move in for another potential kill as they go for the keep. I don't really think they can go for the core here. It's just too early in the game. But they murder that keep, and there's just nothing to be done about it by the team in red. pepeMLady is absolutely falling apart here. This is a 2, nearly 3 level lead that we're looking at now for KiiKoo Combo, and they're just in a fantastic position. I mean, this is this is getting crazy. The damage output, 23,000 for Hanzo. Muradin, by the way, at 10k. Lowest damage. Even Lucio has more. 14,000 for Li Ming. But of course, it's the kills that really matter here. 15,000 for Jaina, 11,000 for Greymane, and they're desperately looking for kills now. They have actually been sniffed out now too. So the blue team knows exactly where they are, and Ixer is just sitting tight and saying like, guys, they're going to go for our camp here. That's an invite that's a little bit ballsy if you ask me, because they don't have a level 13. The Stormbolt misses again from Kierva. Nomi says hello. And there's the Ring of Frost, and Muradin goes down. Good combo from Li Ming again, but still, it's a 5 versus 4 now all of a sudden. And then you look at Li Ming, and Koleos is just absolutely crushing here. It's the Koleos. Oh my god, dude. They're getting completely wrecked. Holy shit. It's the Li Ming show. It's not even Kierva that plays Li Ming here. It's Koleos, but damn, he is murdering them one after another. Will Q at some point just said, fuck this, I'm out of here. And he just ran away for very good reason. I would have run away too. And now is the question, do you go for the keep? Do you go for the immortal? And I guess it's immortal time. Quest is completed for Muradin, by the way. Went into the Thunder Strike, so more damage instead of going for some survivability. This one is also about to be taken down here. And yeah, it's time to shine, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, over on the right side, camp is taken too, but the main question is, of course, what's going to happen around the Immortal. And this is going to be an easy race advantage for the team in blue through the halftime show. It's 50 kills against 3. Ixir is again pushing Greymane out of reach. So there's only little damage against the Immortal so far, but the goal has to be to go for core here. If they can keep those kills up. Yeah, just look at it. The Stormbolt misses again. Zoning Stormbolts. Nomi would be proud. In comes the Ana kill. And the Ring of Frost does some damage, but definitely not enough to help them here. Jaina is down. The only one who survives or who dies is Misha. And oh god, ETC is now down too. It's like whack-a-mole. They see a hero and they hammer it into the ground. 18 kills against 4. I mean, this is seriously quick match what we're looking at right now. KiiKoo Combo must be mad after the last game. They got really angry. They were just looking at this and they're saying like, well, they just defeated us for the first time in this entire qualifier series in the third tournament. And we have to definitely deal with that. And they are just totally demoralizing them on game number 2. Can you imagine if you're pepeMLady and you won against the team that pretty much won every single qualifier tournament so far? You take the lead and then you just get absolutely murdered in game number 2. This is not only a victory for KiiKoo Combo, this is just a statement. This is insanity. I mean, can stop, won't stop. Lucio is bringing the spirit in here and setting the agenda. There's a haymaker and there's a kill. That's gonna be the end of Jaina. And let's be honest here, this should be the end of the game too. Not only do they crush through that keep like hot butter through cheese, they go at the same time for the remaining heroes, and that's the kill against ETC, and they're getting more. They're jumping in and get kill after kill. Greymane is down, and that is just absolutely insane. The series is tied, ladies and gentlemen. KiiKoo Combo takes the victory in Battlefield of Eternity and forces game number 3 in the best of 3 series of the grand final at the Division S Qualifier for Season 2. GG, and well played. We have a 3-mapper, boys and girls. Yep, game number 3 is coming up. On the left side, Koleos on Reyna, Yasu on Urel, and Kierva, this time again on Diablo with Ixia and Zarya, and Slade playing ETC. Alright, a little bit of a different setup over here. It's kind of interesting. ETC on the sideline, I guess, but still, overall, that setup is not quite what I expected. Then again, you look over to pepeMLady, and I have to say the same thing again. Balls on Hanzo. Dyla on Lucio, the Will Q on Nuburak, Devsio on Falstad, and Richu on Dehaka. Now the Nuburak pick is always a little bit odd to me because there's two reasons for it. Reason number one is that Nuburak these days isn't really getting played a lot more because he has very much so fallen off in terms of the meta. That's reason number one. He's just a little bit too far on the squishy side, so most teams don't really play Nuburak anymore for that particular reason. The second reason is that if you play a Nuburak, you're mostly interested in having a big engage, having a follow-up stun, and burst damage. And they have neither. They also just lost Lucio, so they're already a little bit behind. So it's a little bit strange to see them with the Nuburak, considering that they don't really have the follow-up for it. Oh, the kill! And there's the counter kill. Holy shit, a 3-for-1. Yeah, 3 kills against 1 as the game starts, so immediately the blue team coming out swinging again. But coming back to my point, Nuburak just feels a little bit weird in this. If they would, with Lucio and the setup, have maybe Greymane in there, I would say, okay, with the Nuburak, Lucio, and let's say Greymane, you can ride from structure to structure very easily. A Nuburak can spawn a couple of beetles, can soak some shots, and Greymane can get the damage in, so you can make that macro play with Lucio that I've been talking about in one of the earlier series. But that isn't really the case here for either one. So the Nuburak pick is a little bit off to me in terms of the composition and what they are trying to do with this. What I really like about the composition then again is that they have a double global, so for a map as big as Towers of Doom, that heavily hinging on alter control and also macro pressure, it's cool to have 2 globals here. Whereas you look over to the KiiKoo Combo and they have a very immobile team. Now, of course, ETC later on is likely going to pick Stage Dive and then try and counteract the globals to an extent, but there's a lot of plays that you can make when ETC Stage Dives into a fight, you gust the rest of the team away and just deal with him alone. And there's a few other plays that could be made here then too. But there is definitely a nice advantage for pepeMLady when it comes to the macro aspect of the game alone. So that's definitely quite strong. When you're looking over to KiiKoo Combo, it's actually a little bit interesting to also see them run ETC on the side lane. I really feel like they were more or less... That's another kill. Nicely done. That they were more or less forced into the ETC pick and didn't initially plan to do it, because the thing is, if you have a Zarya combo with this, you're really thinking about a strong, powerful 4-man that starts taking down structure of the opponent. And then you want to have a hero that can rotate between the middle and the top lane and take the experience. But ETC doesn't really fit that bill. So normally you would like to have, well, I don't know, Leoric, Malthael, Blaze there that could really do that. But that's not really the case in this one. So we'll see how much that setup works out for them. They definitely lack, generally speaking, a bit of the mobility that we see for pepeMLady. So there's a couple of aspects just in general with this. Also, one of the things to definitely point out is that we have... nice touch. That we have in this case the Seasoned Marksman on level 1. So this is not one of the typical wingman builds that we're seeing normally in the European meta these days. Double exchange, by the way, in altars, one on the left, one on the right, so the traditional fight of the third one is already jumping up. And there we go. Now we have our setup. Dehaka comes in, gets the drag against Diablo. They try to go for Zarya here. Ixia is low, and Ixia is dead. Ixia down, they're looking for a bit more. ETC still sits at the top, but that's the power of an early game global. Dehaka controls the top left, gets the altar channeled, moves down to the bottom of the map, and they are immediately grabbing the kill, and now they have another 4 shots fired against the opponent's core. Early global control, that's exactly what you wanted for, and they use it nicely. So, as it stays, still a leading experience for the blue team. That shouldn't really last too long, because that experience is likely going to be grabbed up by Dehaka either way, and then they will look at even talents. But there's still a bit of a wall stun. Good move by Lucio. Keeping Diablo at bay and moving him back, but Devsio gets attacked too. Level 7 abilities are finally in, but the red team still loses some of the minion experience on lane. Also, again, just highlighting it, since some players in Bronze League are still confused by this, or again, generally speaking, in Wood and Plastic League. Even with an auto-attack build, Boomerang on level 7. Secret weapon is garbage, always was garbage, and most likely, knowing Blizzard, always will be garbage. Don't waste the talent, save a friend today, and explain to him that Boomerang is the best and pretty much only talent on this level. Very, very few exceptions. Secret weapon is never one of the alternatives. Gives you more control on the global, helps you with the stacks, helps you with the wave clear, your global ability becomes therefore also stronger. So yeah, save a friend today and let them know. In this case, talking about saving a friend, Lucio first of all saves himself. That's already important. Comes another bit of feel the heat action as Ixia tries to go for it, and the Haka gets burned down. ETC isn't even here yet. Here comes the ult at the bottom of the map. Still a hefty poke that we are seeing from pepeMLady. The bot lane is pressured now though, and that is a problem. So let's see. At this point comes the attack, and the Nubarak from the side. Come on! No! Where was my flank borrow charge? Instead they go for Dibbles, but they get the dragon. He's not really the one that I would have gone for here. There's other targets like Jimmy that they could have definitely tried to take down. Now they lose Lucio. I'm a real boy! Well, maybe not. And that's another altar for the blue team, so they're going to equalize the points on the core. Yeah, good pick. Taking Lucio down was kind of important. Maybe making Diablo the target was not really the smartest choice from the red team here. I think they could have done other things. False that flies top lane now to make sure that they don't lose any experience there. I mean, we can take a quick look at this actually. Mercenary experience, obviously in the hands of the blue team, but most importantly, they lead in hero experience now. Minion experience, only a small gap at this point. A bit more in structures, but yeah, just so that you guys have a bit of an idea where the experience actually comes from. Of course, at this point, thanks to all of the heroes taken down, difference is easily explained. Stage dive now ready for the team in red, but there's the jump and the kill as Bolzer goes down. But this is exactly the setup that we talked about at the beginning of the game. You want to have that strong foreman that can push to the bot lane. And ETC is the hero that had actually to stage dive away because he got ganked at the top side. But he also struggles a bit with these rotations, which is why we oftentimes see other heroes like Diablo move into the middle of the map and attempt to clear the waves there. It's, by the way, also one of the reasons why ETC again went into the Echo Paddle, because he's not only side laning, he's trying to also make sure that he gets double experience. Level 10 now on both sides. With this, we have traditional talents taken on every single hero for the team in red, so Cocoon plays are now possible. And you can literally go Cocoon and Gust. Isolate the target and then take it down if you play it correctly. The question just is that what they're trying to do here? Also, a quick update, 17 stacks on 17 on Falstad means that he is nearly halfway done with his quest. Wall's done, 1, 2, follow up, Zarya with the ult, Hanzo jumps out, and Will goes down. Gets the Cocoon out, but now with double altars up, the blue team again in a decent spot. The Haka immediately realizing that this is not going to happen. Moves to the top, the bird gets completely locked down and gets eliminated. Yep, chicken dinner. Oriel with the channel, girl with the whip, and Kolios the bot lane. And thanks to the 5 altar control, they get 10 shots of the opponent core, dropping it to 22. Nice control that they have right now. This is a pretty sick advantage for the KiiKoo Combo already. They want to go for the 3rd victory here in the 3rd tournament. And they nearly take down Hanzo. How do you like your Hanzo? Well done. Thank you. 5 bell towers against 3. Top lane control not really working out. Down here, still the full-on lane control. Arrow connects. Make the jump onto Jimmy. Isolation is there too, but immediately the whip from Oriel. And all of a sudden, the Haka himself needs to be careful. 5 versus 5. ETC is in. Yep, there's again the Cocoon. Where's the Gust when you need it? Not used just yet, but they're on the run. The re-engage from Nubarak, and he's immediately pushed into a corner. Good ult from Lucio, but is that enough to really get them a kill? Doesn't seem like it. Yasuo gets the heals out, one after another. Keeps the hope up too. Good damage against Bolzer. And Hanzo, again, not successful getting a kill here. The Haka moved into the middle and just said, okay guys, this is silly. I need to do something else here, so let's move mid and try and get some experience to catch up on level 13, since this is now the lead that the blue team is holding over their opponent. Camps are taken again, which also means that there's an opportunity to reclaim the bottom bell tower. That's exactly where pepeMLady is busying themselves a little bit more. Yeah, Kolios comes in now too, but that bell tower is reconverted. The soonest they moved back, that one got attacked, and that is quite nice. This is actually some momentum regained by the red team. The Polish team with the attempt to go straight into the mid lane. Pierogi against Baguettes, but so far the Baguettes are doing well. And Bolzer in far at the front again, but there's no lockdown. Nothing that they can do. Here comes the ult, gets dodged. Cocoon gets used too. That's a lot of ults that have been dropped here pretty quickly, so be careful. And there's the shots fired. Bam! Straight onto the core, and all of a sudden we are seeing the red team far, far behind. 32 points on the core against 15. They finally pick up level 13. That gives us also the additional damage for false status. They try to get the auto attack damage in, especially with the giant killer now. Will-Q still on the run, and the cockroach, nice and crispy. As the lightning breath comes through, they still keep it in play here. Will-Q a little bit low, but at the bottom of the map, thanks to the Hyperion, it seems like we're gonna see that bell tower reconverted again. And they're taking it. So, the Polish team is just going for damage. I mean, honestly, it's damage mitigation. They're trying to stop bleeding, and it's tricky because the map control has completely shifted over to the blue team. The double global doesn't give the pepeMLady team as much as they were hoping for. They have Dehaka and Falstad, but it's really not working out the way that they intended. Now, instead of trying to defend at the bottom of the map, they go for the top lane, and they're trying to take down ETC. Even with the triple, they can't make it happen. Like, FI, you are allowed to gust him into a corner. The bird goes down. Oh my god, this is disastrous now. That's one shot fired, and they're gonna get more, aren't they? Yeah, once the minion wave is gone, there's gonna be 2 more shots, and this is just disastrous here. 12 shots against 32, falls there down, triple altar on the map. In theory, it's gonna end right here. In theory, the game could end right here on map number 3, Towers of Doom. 11, 12 minutes into the game, 10 seconds left, and we have level 16 in the hands of the blue team. The KiiKoo Combo, insane. They won both of the previous tournaments, and they are just doing absolutely fantastic here in tournament number 3. Falstad is flying deep. Is he gonna get the interrupt? Yeah, no, it's not happening. So at least they are not losing the game outright, but they're down to 2 points on the core. And of course, if the fight now is lost, then boss is taken and this is over. Look at this setup. Jimmy isn't even here. Jimmy isn't even here. It's a 5 versus 4, and they take down Hanzo. Then Jimmy joins the fun, and all of a sudden, 2 are down. 3 are falling, the 4th about to die. It's a 5-man team wipe as they are cleaning house, and the KiiKoo Combo on their way to another tournament victory as they take qualifier number 3 as well. Easily peasily jump from ETC straight onto the core. He doesn't even die, but the core does, and this is the end of the series. Another grand final victory for the blue team. GG! And well played. Fantastic performance here by the KiiKoo Combo.